So here's another episode of Tech Tales. What I'm going to do this time is just talk through some recent time slips, giving you an idea of what a real world computer consultant does. Now, every computer consultant probably has a different reality for their experience. So I'm just sharing what my experience is. So I'm reading off of this screen over here. Here's an attorney's office. I think in this list of time slips, I'm going to be talking about 3 different attorney's offices. So I'll call this attorney office number 1. I worked with the receptionist at the front desk, reviewing the status of backups. In that office, I have the backup software automatically send me reports, and I discovered a report that was not coming. I'm sorry, that's the wrong office. No, this one, they called me because the receptionist in this office, it's her responsibility to check up on the backups. And she does a really good job of calling me when something doesn't look right. And that's what was happening on this one. She called me because she noticed something didn't look right. So I connected remotely, worked with her by phone, and resolved the problem. And what it was is that in that office, we actually have 3 different forms of backup. We have Magnus Box for doing cloud backup. We have Macrium Reflect for doing a local image backup, and we have Handy Backup, which does a file level backup. And that one's the easiest to recover from. But the downside of Handy Backup is if the server gets restarted, it does not automatically relaunch that program reliably. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. And that's what had happened. Is last time the server got restarted, Handy Backup had not gotten launched. So I told her how to manually launch Handy Backup. I'm certain that I've told her this before, but when months and months and months go by and she doesn't have to fix that piece, it's easy to forget to check that piece. So I just refreshed her about doing that. And then I spoke with, coincidentally, at the same time I was speaking with the receptionist, one of the attorneys in the office left me a voicemail about a problem she was having. So as soon as I hung up with the receptionist, I found the voicemail for the attorney, and I called the attorney. She's one of the attorneys in the office, a partner in the operation in the law firm. And she said that her mouse wasn't working right, and then she fussed with it for a while and got it working again. So when I got on the phone with her, I asked her some questions. Have you tried new batteries? Yes, she did. What's happening with the mouse? Well, it's stuck on the right monitor. She has 2 monitors. It was stuck on the right monitor. She couldn't get it to go over to the left monitor. So I said, well, let me connect. I connected remotely, and I moved the mouse from the right monitor to the left monitor just fine. And it turns out what happened is that the monitor positions within Windows got reversed. So I told her, try moving your mouse all the way off the right edge of the rightmost monitor. And when she did that, she found that the mouse appeared on the left edge of the left monitor. So I went into her display settings and just swapped the monitor positions to solve that. Then let's move on to another. Here's a law office number 2. Speaking by phone with one of the paralegals. And she was trying to install a software called Essential Forms on one of the other staff members' computers. And I had trained this particular paralegal how to do that because she was interested. And I welcome my clients to do whatever level of activity on their computer that they're interested in, and I'm happy to show them how to do it. Of course, I charge them for that time. Some people would take exception. Some other computer consultants would take exception to that and say, wait a minute, no, I don't want them to do anything. Well, what happens is when they make a mistake and mess it up, then they call me and I have to fix it. And yes, indeed, it's like the mechanic that says, I charge $45 an hour to do the work, $55 an hour if you watch, and $65 an hour if you want to help. So anyway, she had called me while I was away from my office, and I was trying to talk her through it by memory, and didn't do that effectively. So we spent 9 minutes on the phone and determined that I should just connect remotely later and do it. So I did that, and that's on a separate time slip later that I'll get to, I think, in this video. So then the next one is the same. Oh, it's the follow-up for that. It was just, well, it was a couple hours later, apparently. Yeah. And I connected remotely to that person's computer after hours and installed the software. It was a 6-minute time slip. And that's exactly how long it took. Now, this particular program, Essential Forms, all you do is you go to the appropriate folder on the server and Control-Shift, drag an icon to the desktop. It's just a shortcut to launch the program. It's not really a program installation. Pretty quick and easy to do. And that's part of the reason why I felt it was okay to train her how to do that. But it had been several weeks since she's done it, and I guess she didn't have it written down clearly enough to be able to do it. So then the next time slip here is how do you call it? A housing complex. It's kind of like a multi-story apartment building is what it looks like. You could describe it as looking like a hotel, but it is a housing facility for people who are disabled and elderly and receiving some form of government assistance for their living costs. And what happened here is I connected remotely to the administrator's computer because I received a report from Macrium Reflect that there was a problem with one of the backups that we had configured. And what I found is that backup drive had run out of space. Let's see, is that what it was? Yeah, it had run out of space, so I just deleted an entire folder of obsolete backups. And now it's happy and running again, and that was a 34-minute time charge. Then here's Law Office number 3 for this listing of time slips that I'm including in this video. And this was, let's see, I was working with one of the paralegals in this office by phone and remote connection. And she was reporting that she was unable to print correctly from a web-based software or program called INS Zoom. It's for Immigration and Naturalization Services. So I connected remotely and had her print, had her take a picture of what came out on the printer and send it to me. And sure enough, it was clearly not right. And in looking it over, I realized that she was using Internet Explorer. I asked, why are you using Internet Explorer? And she said, well, we found that we have to, and yes, indeed, back in history when Microsoft Edge first came out and Google Chrome was an alternative, and we just found that this particular website, as with many government websites, were slow to come up to speed with recent security improvements. And Microsoft Edge was not functioning right in its early days with Windows 10. Now, apparently, INS Zoom has fixed some things about their website, which broke the functionality for Internet Explorer. So we just switched over to Microsoft Edge. I said, let's try it here, and it worked there. Now, she was also in the habit of using Control-P to print what was on the page, and the website in Microsoft Edge presents a list of icons on the right-hand panel, which includes print, and I advise her to use print from there rather than using Control-P for printing. So that solved that problem. That was a 15-minute time slip. And the way I do my time slips is when I start working on something, I put in a start time on the time slip. And then when we finish, I put in an ending time and type out what it was. And bada boom, bada bing, I'm done with it. My computer figures out how much to charge. So then here we back to, this is the law office that I've already, I think the second one, yeah, the second law office that I told you about during this video. Here's another session. This was 6 p.m., which is after hours. I connected to the office manager's computer. She does the bookkeeping, the in-house bookkeeping for this law office that has a multitude of attorneys. Well, multitude, what? I'm not sure what the number is now. 8, 10 attorneys, something like that. And 4 or 5 of them are partners. I connected to her computer to go into QuickBooks and adjust a form. I had recently helped her with creating a new company file in QuickBooks. They have several different QuickBooks company files that manage different divisions within their office, and they recently started doing family law. I had apparently some of the attorneys and paralegals in the office had an interest in that area, and so they just added that to their menu of services that they can provide. So what we did is we took one of their other company files and I copied it to a new file and then did a purge of the data in that file. So we had all of the layout and format and account codes and such from the other company. And then we did some adjustments on this new company file. Now that was a couple weeks ago. This request today is when she went to try to print out reports from this family law company file. It had the titles of the prior company or the other company that was not family law. So she was asking for me to change that. So I just went into the customized report and modified that, and that is done. So that's all I'm going to cover for today's session. There's going up on 13 minutes, and that keeps a nice little short video for you. If you would like to have assistance with anything on a computer need, whether you're an end user or a technician or anything in between or outside those boundaries, anything to do with Windows-based computers, send an email to me, DougBetts at LiveWindowsTraining.com to request a free support session where we get into a Zoom session together so we can talk face-to-face and I can connect remotely to your computer and help you with whatever you need. I typically do that during YouTube live stream sessions so that the work that I'm providing can be watched over by other people, other technicians and such on YouTube. So in the body of the email that you send to me, just give me an idea of what you want help with. Don't go into a lot of detail. Don't need that, and we'll put it together. So I hope this video was useful. Catch you later. Have a great day. Goodbye.